Okay, OC, let's dive in. We're going to be breaking down the Real Housewives of Orange County, season 18, reunion finale. The ladies really delivered, I gotta say. They always do. You know, these girls, they turned their pussies out. Costume-wise, not so much. Why was it so casual?
Yeah, it's so weird. Some of these like really elite franchises never get it right with reunion. Like I feel like always just like who's always consistently good is Potomac. They
Potomac.
like even when they're not speaking to each other, like one of their gay assistants is getting with the other gay assistant. And they're at least like, we're gonna all wear yellow. Like we're all gonna do this thing.
It's coordinated.
It's coordinated, but it's just like it's so weird to me to see a reunion where everyone's going to a different event.
Events, yeah. Like
Heather was just like Gina's like vagina's fully out
for a seated reunion. That always shocks me.
And for some reason, like Shannon is dressed like she's going to her wedding rehearsal dinner.
She had a very like she tried to do like a black and white theme. I think it was like like when you get dressed for court and you're trying to wear white,
right?
To,
Which
like,
she does go get dressed for court these days.
Yeah,
and then like Heather's wearing a brown dress. Like
I bet it's from Heather's collection.
And
like
I don't even know what. I don't know what Emily's doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was just like, it's just, they're all dressed so, like, no ball gowns, no prom, just casual. And I'm like, did they just not even try this time? They're like, we always get it wrong, so we might as well, like,
and
wear
I
less
can't even remember what, like,
clothes?
Tamara was wearing. I don't even remember. I don't know what Jenn's wearing. Like, none of it was, it was a flop.
Yeah.
Beginning to end.
But I enjoyed
in terms of dress.
Itself. In terms of dress, yeah.
Yes, and Lauren and I have a little bit of a
we have
disagreement.
A little bit of different opinions. Okay, so like there was definitely lots of like overthought and overprepared like online stuff brought to the table, which I appreciate. I really appreciate.
Extremely online.
I appreciate the new information, so we're not just like rehashing the same fights, but there was maybe a little too much new information where we're like, what are we even talking about? Which has been my big complaint with Tamara this season. So Tamara versus Shannon is how we open. Bravo was really trying to vindicate Tamara to us because she's got so much shit for being so mean to Shannon, and they even showed us a clip where it was like a montage of every time Shannon was called out for her drinking problems in reunions, but still Tamara came off like a bitch.
Yeah, like, Tamara is a bitch. She was a bitch. She is a bitch.
They couldn't help her.
I didn't love the new face.
Yeah, well, it takes time to settle. She's fresh from the blue CO2 laser,
Crazy she did that so close to the reunion, but
I know, attention. She's like, she's in a battle with her public. She's Renna-ing, She's Lala-ing, she's like, Renna-ing.
Not even I don't even think Rinna ever did this stuff.
Yeah,
at least Rinna wasn't like, I'm autistic. I've been to therapy once and I'm autistic.
And Rinna didn't have a podcast is part of it. Like, I really think that Tamara, she can't do both. She can't switch gears. She just learned, she's from an older generation. She just learned how to do podcasts. And then now she has to switch back. And it's like, she's just, her brain's not plastic anymore.
Just learned that she's autistic. Right.
And as
just her face.
Yeah, she's masking literally with her plastic surgery. Okay, so then what else? Oh yeah, so then Shannon, still claiming she's not an alcoholic. And then we get
We're
Gina.
Not saying that. By the way, we're not saying Shannon's not an alcoholic. Everyone who has any issues with substances, and I will say that I do think that she does. I mean, listen, if you're getting DUIs, like something's wrong.
Yeah. It's not for anyone to say. Yeah.
Everyone goes on their own journey, and I don't want to see it like played out this way with like what Tamara's doing to her.
Right. I mean, like, we don't need like Tamara to be like, you should never drink again.
You're drunk.
Because like we are seeing, her at scenes with her daughters at like 11 in the morning, always still ordering a vodka soda, and it is, a little.
So early just to be ordering like
see.
Vodka. Like that's not even in like a Bloody Mary where it seems like sort of socially acceptable. You're just like neat vodka.
Yeah. I mean, she's still the number one guy in this group right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Gina. Oh yeah, like Tamara still tried to make.
That's our new segment. That's our new segment. Gina.
Tamara was still really trying to nail her ass for supporting Shannon. I think that Tamara was really betting on Gina being on Tamara's side after like the, you know, all the DUI shit that Shannon put Gina through last season. I think that that was part of Tamara's big miscalculation. And she's like, well, Gina's gonna, you know, come at her with me. And then Shannon, what's better about Shannon is that she can really eat shit. She's not afraid to, like, Gina was like, well, I forgave her because she like sucked it up and kissed my ass, which Tamara can't do really, which is, I think, a more and more necessary skill in housewifedom.
I just want it over with.
Okay, so we got the full legal breakdown on Ryan from Emily with helpful text inserts. I appreciated this.
Did you know that she went to kind of like a shady kind of law school? I was reading something about it. It was
really,
like
the part-time lawyer went to a law school in Ixtapa?
I need to do more research on it, but it doesn't all seem above board.
I mean, I don't really care that she's not a real lawyer. It's like, she's like Bravo docket. Well, they are real lawyers, but it's like, it's nice to have that element in the show, and I wish it happened in more. Like we talked about how we think that every show should have a lawyer on the cast to explain all of this shit.
And like, yeah, like she explains like really complex law stuff to us. Like bookies are not legal.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. I mean, that's sincerely. I don't know. I mean, especially how freely Jenn talks about like Matt's a bookie.
Yeah. Ryan being
national TV. It's his best friend, and Matt's a bookie, and Ryan was always in Vegas with him because he's a bookie. And Emily broke down that Ryan. Okay, so Matt was a bookie for Shohei Ohtani, who's a baseball player. He's a very famous baseball player. He actually plays offense and defense, and nobody else does. Like, well, he pitches, and he hits, and that never happens. So he's a very rare. He's a unicorn.
I need Emily to break this down to me too, because you lost me at baseball.
Pitching and hitting, they exist, Lauren.
Okay, well, so he's like a top and a bottom in terms that I could understand.
Yeah, he plays the top of the ninth and the bottom of the ninth.
Okay, so then she's like, so Matt is like his bookie, right? Or Matt's his, what is Matt just his bookie?
His interpreter, not Shohei. Yeah, so Shohei Ohtani has done nothing wrong. Apparently, so the guy who was his interpreter is a gambling
addict. Yeah,
and so he was siphoning money from Shohei Ohtani
into Ryan's account, $50 million.
And Ryan didn't do anything, you guys. It was just in his account.
Except he was going with Matt to Vegas, to Pechanga, which I've done stand-up at Pechanga, by the way. And I've been to Resorts World, terrible casino.
I've never been to Vegas, but if I did go, I would go, and I'd be like, if you're a bookie, I know this is not legal.
Yep, you'd be a narc in Vegas, a very popular.
Why is it so hot and wet?
So fun. It's so fun because you get to, are doing stuff, so you're stimulated. But then you don't have to, I don't like gambling. It makes me too scared.
No, but it's like, it's hot. It's
not, you're always inside.
It's like, it's too overstimulated. Like lights.
Lights
and buffets.
Oh, I love the overstimulation. It's great for ADHD, I'm telling you. All of the nicotine and oxygen pumping through your face and all of the bright lights. It's like, dopamine
why is everything a buffet? Their
buffets are really too expensive, prohibitively expensive to go to now. We mostly just eat, Starbucks.
Well, you eat just you just eat random people's leftovers.
Yeah, that's a great way to save money on the cheap. Going to Circus and eating all of the leftover room service from people's hotel rooms. Follow me for more trash people guides to.
Yeah, it's like you and Stephen Baldwin go to Vegas, and that's how you guys hang out.
Yeah. And he teaches me about born again Christianity. So then, so then Ryan and Matt would go to Vegas, and then they would, the $50 million from Ryan's account, they would take part of it out, they would put it into chips, they'd gamble a little, and then they'd cash out. And that's how they, washed the money. They laundered it, yeah.
You know what Matt was talking about on last episode on camera, where he was saying, he's my money launderer.
Yeah, it's so crazy. They did that all. They were mic'd up. It's
you know
wild.
What? And poor Jenn, she's been so removed from so much of it.
And the thing that I love about Jenn is like people are comparing her to Erica and they're like, why aren't they being hard enough on Jenn? Erica was
I
nailed to the cross. Erica knew what was going on. She has the capacity to. Jenn
I really don't
really
think
still
I
doesn't
don't think that
understand.
like even when people are like, this is totally illegal, this is what was happening, like, and she
She's like, but that's not what he said. Like she
yeah, somebody
really
said, and like she's like, how could he do that when he's also at the same time like airdropping a picture of his penis to an entire plane,
yeah, so
airplane? So
many
like
hours in the day.
he's like such a good guy, you know,
It's
somebody she can
so
talk
funny.
to.
Yeah, it's like the way that they explain to her, like, she's like, they're like, well, he threw Matt under the bus. Matt is going to be in prison for 18
Right,
years.
he's
And
like a
she's like,
witness, and so he's co-op. She's like which means like he has full immunity, and they
but
say
she
that.
keeps claiming, no, it's because they found him innocent because he just gave them the accounts and the accounts proved him innocent. And they're trying to explain to her, no, honey, like what
He's
he did
giving
was
them all.
illegal.
Well, yeah,
He
and the reason he has immunity is because he's working with the feds and giving them very good like stuff to able to
information. Yeah.
information to like convict your best friend Matt, who is a bookie, and you launder his money as
But she's not getting it,
yeah, and
dude.
she's
Like
like,
really, she's
yeah,
not.
and
And I
Jen's like,
love that.
yeah,
I
no, and
love
Jen's like,
it.
no, but like he's not been charged with anything, and then Andy's like, well, he's not because well he's has full immunity,
He's
which means that
cooperating, Jen.
cooperating, and you don't usually give somebody who is innocent immunity.
Yeah.
Like that's not what immunity is.
And
It
still
just means
she's
they're not
just
going to
like
prosecute you.
bright-eyed, lip gloss glowing, like, I don't understand what you're
Yeah, I
saying.
think we're gonna get married in June.
I love it. I live.
The kids will be there.
Yeah. This kind of like wide-eyed naivete. It's like it's beyond
But she can
Lynn,
still cut
even.
a bitch. She can cut a bitch like Tamra. So
Yeah.
good stuff.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then that's what I do like is she did learn her lesson on Tamra, but has not learned her lesson, is incapable of learning any other lessons.
Well, and she also comes for Emily.
Emily. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So then
yeah. I was just saying, so the reunion starts, it's boring. No, it's not boring. I don't like the way all these I don't need to see people getting ready and be like,
I hate that.
I'm gonna be mean to somebody today. It's like just get like let's start it. I don't even need to see Andy saying hi to everybody.
No.
I just need someone to pull out a binder. I've been missing a binder since Monique left Potomac.
Well, I think it's because Monica's binder was so disastrous that people are scared now. Oh, and
right, it was a bad
the
binder.
last Dallas reunion, Cameron's binder was pretty terrible.
I just want Monique's binder.
Yeah, let's just bring that back. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's hard to escalate. I miss like Kenya's props, even though they've clearly had a disastrous
banned. Those were banned because of abuse.
Yeah,
an assault happened.
But I don't know. Get creative. This is your time for performance art.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't need to see you printing off pages of like texts. Like I need to see binders.
Like
I need to see
me some drama.
Receipts.
Yeah, which they gave us. The editors gave us. I miss like kind of moments like Teresa challenging Melissa to a sing-off. You know, like I want some kind of alt comedy.
That's
moments.
great.
Yeah.
I need something like that. I need like speaking of Jersey, like Caroline Manzo when she tells Teresa like you're dressed like a Christmas tree pageant.
Yeah, like
she's wearing a green.
Like a read with a malapropism. Like, that's
right.
My bread and butter. But I enjoyed this reunion. I
know. No, you really liked it. So let's talk about let's talk about your favorite part of the reunion, which is my least favorite part.
It wasn't my favorite part, but I think it's going to work out best for everyone.
We learned some things about Katie against our will.
Yes. I think part of it was Emily was on such a roll breaking down the Matt lawsuit stuff that she kind of just kept on going and kind of went overboard a little.
Right. So I guess this is supposed to be like the bring down of Katie and just really kind of assassinate her character. She doesn't, all she does is lie. So I feel like Emily is doing Heather's dirty work here because again, Heather's still doing the thing where like she's pretty much keeping her hands clean. Also, did you think it was interesting that Heather and Emily were sitting right next to each other and Emily was across the street?
When they've been kind of like lightly beefing all season, where it's like Gina, where Emily's like, Gina, why are you better friends with Heather than me? I feel like I'm losing you to Heather.
The body shaming from Heather. So I found that to be pretty interesting seating. Obviously, it made sense. Shannon like next to Andy, and then Tamra.
Yeah.
But it was weird. Just, okay, like Gina's on the other couch, and Emily's over here next to Heather. I thought they would be across from each other.
Yeah.
But it is clear here that Emily's kids probably did say that Heather was a piece of shit, because why else would Heather really have the motive to sort of go after Katie?
Well, I think Katie's daughter definitely did, from social media clips I've seen of Katie's daughter
You're
talking
right.
about the other
I
housewives.
feel like Katie's daughter is a little thirsty for screen time.
Oh, she is 100%. Yeah.
Those Gen Z kids, they love their screen time.
But again, overall, this is like this reunion, even though I think they were trying to put a nail in her coffin, it's part of the case to keep her. There's mess that she
Speaking
hasn't
of the
showed
case,
us.
do you want to talk about like the case that had nothing to do with the season, is from 10 years ago, but is back from the dead because Emily has access to all of those like sealed documents by that Radar Online in Touch Magazine.
But so does like you can pay $1 to get someone's court records.
So what was the story? So
that's not lawyering. That's just being a suit. Or I'm a lawyer.
In the reunion, I guess like Heather tells Katie, well, lying about people is kind of your thing.
Yeah. And then a huge leap to, after all, 10 years ago, didn't you get into a road rage incident where you beat a man up and then you had to pay out $100,000 in civil court because
what really happened is like, you lied about a man and he had to go to prison, and Katie's like, he was released the same day. She tells the story very differently. I guess she said the guy was following her home and recording her friends. I mean, her kids, and she was really scared and called the police. And then I guess that was not what was in the police report.
I mean, she's definitely lying, but
and also she was, so I guess the guy got mad at her because he saw her texting while driving, and he was
triggered. Yeah,
she never denied that, so she probably was,
because I think he had like a family or someone who died because of a distracted driver.
So he went to prison, he went to jail, but Katie said he was released the same day, and the police report was inaccurate, which really made Emily upset. Why would a police record like account of the details be fabricated?
Of course she loves the police. I don't like her politics.
Why would they say something different about like a woman who's a minority here, a Asian driver?
Yikes.
I do think that, Jason.
Yeah, I do think I do. That's what a lot of people are saying. They're like, Heather's racist or whatever. I do think it's more like she's hanging out with Tamara too much, and she's like pulling out this deep dirt.
They're all trying to
like,
be Megan King Edmonds, and there was only ever one Megan King Edmonds,
and she needs to come back.
Relevant.
Now that she's crazy.
She lives in St. Louis. She can't. But anyway, so then it's like, okay, now we've moved on to the next thing. Katie's a liar, and the police report was accurate according to Emily.
Yeah, and then also Emily really like does not read the room, and then really doubles down into some dark territory that like, really, then if your ex-husband was so bad, then why did you lose custody of your kids? It's like,
why were you losing custody of the kids? And like, why did like they show up to your husband's address if you were separated? And she was like, I had no money. I was living in a facility with my kids. She was living, I guess she was in some sort of a shelter, which nothing wrong with that. But why are we talking about it at a reunion? It's awful. I did not like that. The custody stuff is the kids and the living in the facility. And then it was clear that Emily and Heather were not aware of that fact. And they were like, oh, God.
They were like, I think they really just thought that this is just such a misguided move, because like clearly like Heather wants to get rid of her, but it's like all of a sudden this really boring girl, like for her all of a sudden to have like this insane backstory where she like beat a guy up. It's like, now I want her back. Like now the drama lovers want her back, and the moral outrage people like want her back because they think you were mean to her. So it just like spectacularly backfired.
But it was like also, I think, confusing the other women who didn't even know about this story. Like Shannon was
just like, what the fuck is going on?
Why are we talking about? Because Shannon's like, we're supposed to talk about how Tamara keeps calling me an alcoholic. Why are we talking about?
Why does she even get time? Like if you had ignored her, you would have shut her out of the show.
She's furthest away from Andy. We're not supposed to talk about her.
Exactly. And that's my problem. That's, I think, really the Heather thing that shone through was that she instead of like going against Tamra when she's the one person who can really stand up to Tamra. She chose to ally with Tamra and go after weaker targets. And I hope she does not make the same mistake next season, because I think she knows she had the worst season she's ever had. So I'm optimistic she'll flip.
We love an optimistic Lauren Davis.
I'm being optimistic in general.
So, but also for our listeners and viewer.
No, we get up to like 60 to 100 views on these.
Hey, Lauren really liked that stuff.
I told you I didn't like the custody stuff, but I liked hearing about the road rage thing because now I'm invested in Katie.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what she's done with a golf club at this point.
Well, I mean, yeah, we saw a little of the rage when she had to play golf at the golf event that she arranged. She's like, she sucks at it.
Yeah.
More of that.
Stay tuned, folks. Also, Katie doesn't really live in the OC. I think that was the other thing Emily said.
I mean, neither does Heather. Heather lives in Beverly Hills. She got a house in the OC so she could go back to the
exactly. Okay, so after Katie and Heather and Emily tried to figure out if Katie had road rage and whatever, we need to get to the Shannon and Tamara bit. Although I feel like it'll be part 3 or part 2 that we really get.
Yeah, we talked about it.
But they're like the number 1 and number 2 girl in the group at this reunion.
We talked about it. You were just dissociating.
I wanted to talk about how angry Shannon really is. Like, she's still not willing to forgive or forget everything that Shannon has said and done. I'm losing my mind what Tamara has said and done. And Tamara is still I think she starts trying to apologize, and it's
but
like,
not really.
And Shannon's like, it's not going to happen. We're never going to be friends. Like, I don't want that from you. You've destroyed my life, and by that I mean you destroyed London for me. Yeah, she'll never go back to merry old England.
She only has like 30 other European countries she can go to now.
When these girls go to Europe, it's never good.
It is cursed for them to go to the UK, isn't it? Next year, Scotland. Scotland for the girls next year.
Even when they went to Iceland, though, like, Vicky's getting wheelchair down with a blink down her head. It's never good for these girls.
But that's because she took Kelly Dodd's drugs.
I think she said later was like an Adderall.
An Adderall and a Xanax.
I heard that an Adderall and a Xanax, they call that the soccer mom speedball.
Yep. Yeah, and then so we've got I can't wait for Alexis to come back. I think Emily's going to really redeem herself dunking on her.
Well, because Jenn says the thing about Emily when Emily won't shut up about trying to explain why Brian's a criminal. She's like, why do you care so much about my income or whatever when Shane's family supports your life?
That was good. That was good. And that's like that's a good example of how to bring up something off camera, but be relevant instead of trying to cram all this information. It's good.
Well, I went on Reddit. Apparently, like, Emily has talked about this on the show before, that like
they're
Shane
really
has
rich.
A lot of family money because like he wasn't an attorney. Like, he didn't pass his bar exam until very recently.
We saw him continue to flop on the show for like the first 3 seasons, and then he barely passed because they lowered the passing grade. The year that he got in.
I mean, I did read that the California bar exam is like the most difficult in the country. They have so many unique laws in California, but
yeah, if you're a little dork.
Oh God, what else happened? Andy is there. Andy, Emily. Emily. She's not bringing anything but her vagina to the party. And you know what? I don't like the hair. I don't need to see that your hair looks wet, even when it's not.
I don't like the wet look unless you have short hair.
I'm trying to think what I did like about this reunion. I thought it was entertaining.
It was good.
It was good. I'm ready for part 2. I want some real.
I think part 2 is going to up the ante even more.
That's when we get them
escalating. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Are there going to be? Is it just part 2, or are we going to have 3?
I think it's a 3-part reunion. It sounds like, I mean, just from what I've heard about Shannon, she I think she did say like she didn't forget Tamara. They haven't made up. And then, but Jenn also did say that she would invite every one of the women to her wedding, but they would have to promise if they come that they would, support the union 100%.
Like, and not stand up and say, I object. I mean, like, that's like,
why are we getting married? It's like, why are they getting married in a place where they have very relaxed banking laws?
Yep. Interesting. But I mean, honestly, she's like, I bet she was like, that's a great idea. It's beautiful there.
Yeah, she's like so like
Joe Giudice can come,
She really is like she's like, was just excited to plan a wedding with a
I
guy she can talk
know.
to.
She's such a great find.
She's so good. I
Yeah.
want to protect her because
I know.
no one else is.
But also, I think she and Ryan are gonna make it.
They're gonna make it. I mean, if you
Like,
can make
honestly,
it,
couples goals. Like,
honestly, like I would be. Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, don't you want to be in a marriage where you have no idea what's going on except the good stuff?
the dream. It's like the conservatorship of marriages.
And like live in this amazing house. Like,
No culpability, no
you don't have to pay
responsibility.
anything. Your name's not on anything. You don't own anything.
You still don't know how to pay a water bill. Like,
You still don't have a credit card in your name.
You basically don't exist.
But you do because you're an amazing person.
And you're on TV.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the end of our episode.
What are your predictions for the next episode? The next part 2 of the reunion?
Yeah. Other than I think Emily really redeeming herself, dunking on Alexis. I think the tides are going to change on her.
Okay, because we have seen the preview so many times of Emily telling Alexis she's the dumbest person she's ever seen.
And that was the best moment of the season for Emily.
Emily lives with Shane. Yeah, Emily lives with Shane. So she's seen some really dumb
stuff.
Shit.
Yeah.
So if Alexis is the dumbest person she's ever been around, like that's really saying something.
I think she's really, from what we've seen, going to drag her for always carrying out a man's agenda on camera, which is true of Alexis, and which I hope that Alexis wakes up and realizes I'm enough. No, I want her to be on the show, but I want her to carry on her own crazy agenda. Go back to acting class, the usual Alexis nonsense.
I want her to show her boobs off a little bit more like she used to show.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, do you feel like she's wearing more blazers than she ever did before, like Shannon?
I think she's trying to not have people call her Jesus Jugs,
even though that's the first thing Andy apparently says to her, the return of Jesus Jugs. She tried suing Tamara for that, for that name.
That's so.
Or her attorney sent a cease and desist, and Tamara just called her Jesus Jugs. I think just the one time on the reunion, and that's the only thing anybody's ever called her since, or the dumbest bitch I've ever seen.
Yeah. Have we talked? I don't think we talked about on air Jimmy B, Jim Bellino, and Elizabeth Vargas's beautiful union.
And he thought it was they're not together. He really thought he was going on a date with. I guess she DM'd him, and he really thought it was Elizabeth Vargas from 2020, even though the profile picture didn't align. So he agreed to go out with her, and he was expecting this, prestige, this prestigious woman who was of the former anchor on 2020 newswoman, and it's a QAnon Elizabeth Vargas. So they only went on one date, and he didn't even realize who he was going on a date with. So.
Okay. Well, first of all, that is so funny. That's literally a B plot in season 4 of Veep when Dan sleeps with Amy's sister to get on because she works at CBS, but really she works at CVS. I can't believe that's real life. And then second of all, I hate that he scorned my queen. My mentally ill, closeted lesbian, compulsive liar queen. He would be lucky to be with Elizabeth Vargas, and she needs to be back on the show because we don't have enough absolutely deranged, pathological liars on Housewives. I don't think she's really a danger to anyone with her philosophy because no one takes her seriously and she has no power. Get her on the
show. That's the type of woman we like.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just like I like variety.
Got the power.
I want to see all types. All types represented.
Good. You know what? The OC, great season, great reunion. Can't wait for part 2. Really gonna miss these gals when they go away. Even though they're all over my feed.
But you know what? We'll have solace as we can go back to recapping the second half of the show. I mean, we've got season 10 coming. We haven't done season. We can't quit before season 10.
We haven't even talked about season 9, which is the first season.
Also really good. Yeah, with Shannon, with our queen.
A storm's a brewing.
Yep.
A Shannon Storms.
It's so fun. I also, sorry, I've got to say.
And you'll all see the truth.
You'll all see the truth. I do love that, they're all trying to really work so hard for a pun on her name, and they all suck. Like, there she goes, Shannon Storms Bador is always storming for Bador with Tamara. I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my God. Save me now. Save me now.
Bravo_breakdowns on TikTok and Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube. And if
And
you're
we,
watching it on there, we'll show our boobs as always at the end.
and we will be putting a poll out this week about everyone's favorite Baldwin. We're going
Baldwin.
to be ranking them. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about the results on the next episode.
Yeah.
I know everyone's dying to cast your ballots for what really matters here, folks.
The most important election of our lifetimes. Well, let's allow ranked voting on this one. Be a positive step. I don't know if they've got the feature for it, but we'll figure it out on Instagram polls. Oh, now we said it. Time.
And now we said it. Time. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.